Hello everyone! Today we will learn DC fast charge charging system troubleshooting.
Task to introduce. A customer's Geely D-HOW-F450 pure electric vehicle fails to charge properly during DC fast charging, and the instrument shows the fault light is illuminated. As an automotive aftermarket service technician, you are asked to fault analyze the vehicle and find the faults to be repaired so that it can be fast charged properly. We have 3 learning objectives for this course, which are 1. Understanding the causes of electrical faults in DC fast charging systems. 2. Ability to correctly read DC fast charging system data streams using a diagnostic instrument. 3. Knowledge of DC fast charging system troubleshooting procedures. Here we will learn today's content through 3 parts: common faults and maintenance methods of DC charging system, DC charging system harness detection process, and fault detection. Part 1. Common faults and overhaul methods of DC charging system. 1. The charging post shows that the vehicle is not connected. Check whether there is a 1 kΩ resistor between the CC1 end of the DC charging port and the P end. Check whether the read of the DC charging port is broken. 2. Charge gun connects successfully but does not wake up BCM. Check whether the DC charging gun output auxiliary power is normal. If not, check whether the switching power supply inside the DC charging pile is working. 3. Power cell contactor engaged, but no output current. Check whether the charging protocol between DC charging pile and power battery BMS matches. It is recommended to refresh the latest national standard charging protocol. 4. Communication timeout between charging post and vehicle. Check the resistance between S+ and S at the end of the charging gun. The normal value is 120 ohms. If it is not normal, then disassemble and inspect the DC charging gun and replace the internal carbon film resistor. 5. DC charging jump starter. In the DC charging process, jump the gun. Wait for a period of time and then can continue to charge. Check whether the DC charging port end of the temperature sensor resistance value becomes small, the standard value of 2 kΩ. 6. DC or DC converter not working. During DC charging, it is impossible to charge after suddenly jumping the gun. Check the voltage of the low voltage battery. If it is lower than 9.8 volts, then check whether the DC is not working. Part 2. DC charging system harness inspection process. 1. Check DC charge port assembly high voltage harnesses. 1. Unplug the high voltage connector from the DC charge port assembly. 2. Test the positive and negative cables for conduction. 3. If the above test conditions are normal, then proceed to the next step. If the test conditions are not normal, then replace the DC charging port. 2. Check DC charge port assembly high voltage harnesses. 1 is shown in the figure. The DC charging port assembly high voltage wiring harness. 2. Place the start switch in the off position. 3. Unplug the battery manager low voltage connector BMIC02. 4. Use a multimeter to check the standard resistance values of the battery manager connector BMIC02 and the charging port terminals. The standard resistance of the measurement location box is shown in Table 1. The resistance of BMS K73 and CC2 is less than 1 ohms. The resistance of BMS K71 to S+ is less than 1 ohms. The resistance of BMS K72 to S is less than 1 ohms. The resistance of BMS K75 to A is less than 1 ohms. The resistance of BMS K74 to A+ is less than 1 ohms. The resistance of CC1 to G and E is 1000 ohms 30 ohms. Part 3. Fault detection. 1. Safety requirements and precautions. Before the start of the practical training, prepare in advance good people protective equipment, site protection, insulation protection, set up warning signs, and check whether it meets the standard of use. Check whether the practical training site and equipment and facilities are clean and the existence of potential safety hazards. Distribution boxes. Rows of weather to meet the demand for electricity. If not normal, please report to the teacher and deal with it. 2. CC2 signal fault detection. Fault detection. Step 1. Look at the wiring diagram and locate the CC1 wiring harness and associated plugs. Step 2. Measure the voltage of DC fast charging port CC2 with a multimeter. The standard value is 12 volts. Step 3. Switch off the ignition and disconnect the negative battery terminal. Step 4. Measure the resistance of DC charging port CC2 and P with a multimeter. The standard value is. Step 5. Measured with a multimeter to measure the resistance of DC charging port CC2 and BMS K73. The standard value is less than 1 ohms. The measured value is. Judgment abnormal. Step 6. Repair the wiring. Plug in the charging gun. Vehicle instrumentation shows normal charging. Troubleshooting. In this course, we mainly learn from the common faults and maintenance methods of DC charging system. DC charging system harness detection process. Fault detection of new energy DC fast charge charging system fault maintenance. I believe you have a more comprehensive understanding of DC fast charge charging system, and this lesson will learn here.